Good evening, YouTube. Ty Metalhead Weatherman here. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. Relatively active day as well. Well, really more so the morning hours than anything else. There was some activity earlier with tornadoes, especially, but I think the main headline for today really has been more with the wind and the flooding, especially over towards the downtown Atlanta area. There's a lot of reports of wind and flash flooding. Even my area came relatively close to getting some flash flooding. I barely made it to work, honestly. And there was also cars flipped over. It was pretty crazy today. But finally, it looks like the severe weather threat is about over. There's a few lingering showers and storms over towards the Florida Peninsula, but beyond that, nothing really going on there. And the same can be said over towards the Midwest, where we have a lot of that snow starting to clear out from areas like South Dakota, Iowa, and Nebraska. We'll still be watching for a couple of snow bands over towards southern Wisconsin through the overnight tonight, but by tomorrow morning, I think a lot of this will be starting to die down in coverage. We're watching our winter storm just north of the border here. Not expecting too much to really come out of that unless you're in the Adirondacks, where you could see a little bit of snow and ice, but nothing too wild from the looks of it. The real story now is what's really been the story all along and continues to be the story is the atmospheric river out west. It's kind of hard to see right now because I have the winter weather alerts and outlooks up, but we can also see here this little redlined area. This is a moderate risk for excessive rainfall. Rain has been falling on the west coast of California all day. And yesterday, when I think I talked about this and I mentioned it being a slight risk. This got upgraded, and this rainfall is continuing to persist and will continue to persist throughout the evening tonight, into tomorrow and beyond. And multiple systems are set to hit this area, so we were gonna have to be extremely watchful for this watchful of this area in the days ahead, especially considering how active things have been. But that's towards the valleys and the foothills. Once we get into the Sierra Nevada region, we have a multitude of winter storm warnings here, where we could be seeing wintry conditions in the higher elevations, possibly even up to about at least 10 inches of snow, if not greater than that. Most places in this instance, we're going to be probably measuring a lot of it in feet. That's just the honest truth. So let's go ahead and take a look at what lies ahead here. We're going to mainly look at the models, the European mainly, but we'll also make a comparison with the GFS. But it's pretty much unanimous at this point. We know that there are multiple systems out there lurking, and more are expected to work their way into the West Coast over the course of the next 10 days. So this is what we have going on right now. Or actually, this was a little earlier because this is a 12Z Euro here. It's the only way I could look 10 days out so far. Interesting thing to note here, in case you didn't know, the 06 and 18Z Euros, they only go up to about 90 hours. So if you see me doing a long range forecast, odds are I'm usually going to end up having the 12Z Euro, because I'm not trying to, I don't think anyone's going to be wanting to watch a video at 2 a.m. or a video that I made at 2 a.m. at 7 or 8 a.m. Yeah, but anyway, that being said, here's our next system coming in behind what was left of this one by Friday. And then from that system, we have yet another one that rolls in right behind it with rampant energy. And this one is one that we're going to need to watch in the near future as we start to get towards the mid-month, because this might be a system, these next two systems might be the ones that end up trekking eastward. Especially this one that pops in on the 10th and rolls in on the 11th. Look at how this digs down. This could become another battle. This could be another instance where the Ozarks and the Arklatex end up becoming another battle zone for a potential severe weather event. This will all depend on the warm sector that's out ahead of it, but you can see that there's a decent bit of cold air being pulled in here. And also I'm noticing so far relatively subtle forcing over here, so this could be another tornado driven threat, possibly. Other factors of course are going to go into that, but we'll have to keep an eye on things as time goes on. We'll watch this work its way off to the south and east, and we'll just have to see what happens with that. But it looks like it's on a similar track with the storm system we just dealt with, maybe a little bit further to the south according to the Euro. But beyond that, things look relatively identical. Another storm system behind that, really oddly shaped, but of course we're towards the end of the model run, so this kind of thing can happen. But it does look like it tries to get its act together right around mid-month, so this is another one that I'm going to be watching close. Make that comparison to the GFS, we might see something a little bit different. Not to mention, GFS has a 384-hour run every single run. So every 6 hours you get a new run. So this is up to date. So this is what we're looking at with the GFS currently. This is our current storm system, our current winter storm now. Going to be ejecting its way out through the northern tier of the country. Another shortwave system comes in right behind that. Not too much really is expected of it. Mainly going to be a warmer core system, so it's going to be mostly rain. Few showers and storms possible, but severe weather threat is relatively limited, especially due to the lack of warm sector to the south here. So I'll move this along, and things are not awful. They're relatively quiet, and this is heading in towards the 10th, but again, it's the same look, different model. Big storm comes in. This storm tries to get its act together right here. We'll have to watch and see what this does. But this is also going to lead to some uncertainty, because when we looked at the Euro, we were seeing something entirely different. But that being said, this next storm system that comes onshore around the 10th and 11th time frame is much bigger, something that we will need to pay closer attention to. Although, interestingly enough, the GFS has this going a little bit further north, and it doesn't really look like it's drawing a whole lot of moisture in from the Gulf. A little bit from the Baja here, which could be interesting in its own right. But it just doesn't have that same kind of look like, okay, this could be a severe event as of right now. There's another piece of energy that comes in behind that kind of makes things interesting. And then there's this really big pull of cold air that comes in with that. And it looks like there's this storm system that's north of the border, these two phase. It's kind of crazy how the GFS is looking right now. So I'm not really going to read too far into it from this point. We have more active. I mean, it still looks active, but it's just looks kind of sloppy right now. It's nothing really super definitive beyond the 10th that I can really go off of at this time. We'll have to see how the OOZ Euro comes out tonight and see where all the other models are really trending. But this is pretty much all I can look at right now and get some relative idea of what could be ahead here. When we look at the model run, towards the end of the model run, of course, we're at no man's land. So at this point, you might as well toss your papers up if you're trying to take notes saying, oh, this is what's going to happen on this day. Really, anything after the 10th right now, it just looks kind of messy. I would say just kind of tune in. I may make an update video on this tomorrow. I may wait till Friday. It depends on how things trend. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at what this could all look like on actual precipitation, on the actual precipitation type. So we'll move this forward, and as we all know, with our atmospheric river, lots of showers, lots of snow in the higher elevations over towards the entire west, especially towards the west coast, is where the most activity seems like it's going to be. All the way through the weekend, that's going to be the main story. You see this little clipper system off to the northeast. You're going to drop a little bit of snow, but nothing extraordinary. But just look at this flow of moisture that just continually goes over the same areas over and over again. These places have struggled with drought, but this is a little bit too much of a good thing. This has been happening all at once, and this is exactly what we don't want as a result, because this is causing a lot of flooding, causing a lot of damage, and turning people's lives upside down. So, if you know any way to kind of donate to these folks and help or contribute to their needs while they're going through this, I would encourage you to do so. So now we're towards the 10th and 11th time frame. We're watching that next storm system come in. GFS doesn't really pick up on the precip type as clearly, but of course this is the operational run. We may in the near future end up doing more ensemble runs as well. I'm just trying to figure out the most efficient way to make these videos watchable and not too long. But here's that next system right around the time of the 16th. Looks pretty interesting. See how it has a really big cold pool right here. And as a result, we're starting to get snow a little bit further south. We're starting to get towards the Mississippi River regions and starting to even push towards the southern end of the Ohio Valley where we're getting more snow. There is a little bit of a sector here where you could see a pop-up severe storm from this. But again, like I said, we're at the 16th. Things kind of look messy with the models here. And then you can even see it more so as we look towards the snow threat. The 540 line here is our 32-degree line, but we're getting snow up towards the Appalachians. And then right between the 540 and 546 line, we have snow all the way up we have snow and ice all the way up into the Ohio Valley. So a lot of questions that need to be answered there. But this also looks like if this were to come to fruition, this would create a line of thunderstorms, maybe some severe weather around the Carolinas, and then maybe even a coastal storm or nor'easter for the Northeast. If that were to hold, I'm pretty sure that within the next 3 to 5 days, that's going to look entirely different. And then here's another big system that looks to be coming in right on the heels of that. Another setup for the Great Lakes. I know you guys are definitely tired of that. And then, of course, we're still looking towards more so the Northwest. But I think the atmospheric river, probably after mid-month, looks like it may be starting to die down. Don't quote me on that, but it does look like it starts to slow up a little bit. Because whereas before it was just constant, it looks like once we get towards the 18th, it looks like it starts to lighten up a little bit. It starts to trend a little bit more towards the northwest. And maybe north of the border, honestly. So we'll have to see what that ends up turning out to be. But here's hoping that maybe you guys over here towards the West Coast can get a break. We make our pretty much in comparison with the Euro, it's not going to be too much different. We're just going to run that in a loop real quick, and it's going to pretty much be the same deal. There's our winter storm. There's our next few systems rolling in one after the other. A couple of these do get pretty strong. Now, the Euro definitely seems like the warmer of the two models. But as time goes on, I think the Euro's probably going to win out on its solution as of right now. But of course, we can only look 10 days versus 16 with the GFS. So once we get past, I'd say the 12th, it's pretty much hearsay at this point. But we can look at the 9th being pretty active around a large swath of the west here, especially getting towards the Rockies. Then once this system passes the Rockies, it becomes a severe weather potential. It gains severe weather potential as we go towards the southeast and towards maybe even the Tennessee Valley. But that's as far as we're going to really be able to read into this right now. At this point, pretty much trying to read the dew points and Cape values and all the other intricate stuff is really useless at this time. We'll make update videos as we draw closer to these more significant events around the entire country. I may make a video tomorrow, more so highlighting the threat that we have going on out west. So that being said, look forward to that. And that being said, I'm honestly exhausted. I've been exhausted this entire video, so I apologize if I seem kind of off. But yeah, if you did somehow like if you did somehow like what I did here, definitely drop me a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. I do think there's something going on with my viewership here, especially whether or not it's my issues, whether I'm having an issue with the algorithm. If you aren't seeing my video, or if you aren't getting notifications for my video, I should say, just let me know in the comments, I guess, whether it's an older video or this one, or just let me know what's going on in the comments. Are you seeing my videos? But that being said, though, this has been Tyler Metalhead Weatherman. I apologize if I sound sloppy again. Tomorrow will be a lot better, and I will see you then.